That's right. Welcome to the European Union and the United Kingdom show that we do earlier on in the day, just to make it a little bit easier for everybody to be able to tune in and then make it fair for everybody around the world. We've only got one person watching right now, whoever it is. We got two people watching now. Hello to you. So we'll say hi to Lobster Boy. Hello to Return to the Mac. What's up, Barf Merkel? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. What's up, I done ya mum? I like it. Good to see you, I done ya mum. I hope you're doing well. All right. What's up, Ryan McKenzie? Good to see you. Hello back to Scotland. All right. Well, I hope everyone's having a beautiful day today. We're having a good day here at Potsquatch Growers so far. Today is the last day of lights on in here. So we're going through, we're cleaning up, we're doing the final flush on things, and then tonight, when the lights go out, we will be giving them 48 hours of darkness, and then we will be waiting. So that 48 hours of darkness is our final push. We're going to super chill the ladies in here as well, get them going super cold, super chilly, and then we're going to cut down on Thursday. So Thursday will be harvest day for all of these beautiful ladies, and then once they're dry, we will obviously then go through and do our trimming. What's up, Dank Tanks? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. All right, welcome to the show. Yeah, so basically today's chores really for me here are going to be going through, plucking off all of these leaves here, these things that come off very easily, the ones that have been cannibalized and kind of started to break down a bit. So you gently go up to the bud and you pull them out. Let's see if we can find a bud. Like, so for example, here's one here. So we're just gently removing that from the bud. I'll show you. It's a little desiccated leaf. It just came off right on its own accord. You just pull ever so gently. So why are we doing that? Well, we're removing those leaves so that when we go to the 48 hours of darkness, and then when we go into our drying period, there's not going to be any of these kind of, rotting or breaking down leaves in our buds, which is then it's going to help protect us from having bud rot. All right, bud rot is not good. We don't want that bud rot in there, right? So, it's going to be a good thing. You want to leg wrestle with our shirts off or not? Maybe when I'm not so busy. Dirty or catfish, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the show. What's up, Ganjanati, yo mama? Good to see you. What's up, Dominator Buds? Good to see you. Welcome to the show, Return of the Mac. But yeah, so today's kind of preparation for our lights out, and that's kind of where we're at. We're very close to the sort of the finish on this, so I'm looking forward to doing that. And then will come the illustrious or infamous trim jail, which again, not a big deal. I mean, I quite like trimming because of how we've been able to stay on top of a lot of the chores here. The trim here is going to be a lot easier on these plants typically than some of the other plants done in the past. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it's going well. Yeah, but how's everyone? How's everybody doing at home? What's up, Daniel Tag? Good to see you, buddy. All right, welcome to the show. Really today though, it's just I gotta make sure I get everything done. The lights will go out tonight at around 8:30ish or so. So we basically have until about 8:30. So it's not too bad. The real trick to going through your plants and like pulling stuff off is just work one plant at a time. Take your time, slowly but surely, start removing shit, and then go plant by plant. We've only got 12 plants to do in here, so it's not too bad. Dirty or catfishing. Do I own a Harley? No, because I can't afford one. I have some bikes, but nothing fully powerful like a Harley. One day we'll have one, but I have a lot of Cadillacs and stuff that require money before I will let myself buy a Harley. Like rebuilding my 52 four-door Hydro. My head needs a tan. Well, we'll see what happens this summer, Gotcha, your mama. But you're right, it is quite pale of a head. That is true. I am I'm very, very pale. Was ist los? Winnie 285 or 85? Am I saying that right? Also, mein Deutsch ist nicht so gut, aber was ist los? Hallo, willkommen. Wo in Deutschland bist du wohl, mein Freund? All right. Warren Bay level, I am doing well. Much love back to you. I'm doing well enough. The good thing is just, my business partner should be back in town this week, so we'll get the final stuff sent in for the writers, have that payment portal approved. Gearing up here right now for the launch of the store again, which means, getting the office ready, getting it clean, going through doing inventory of the shirts, seeing what sizes. Hi, Miss K, and anyone I missed, by the way, hello to you as well. Getting all those shirts ready, doing all the inventory stuff to get that loaded into the website. Double checking parameters and sizes and weights of goods for the shipping for the website as well. So that's going to be all up very, very soon. And we're also gearing up to sort of launch our sales team there, doing all the wholesale stuff to different stores different stores throughout the U.S. and then different stores in the U.K. So, you know, busy times here at Potsquatch Growers, I'll tell you. Trying to keep my head on straight, you know what I'm saying? We're working on it, you know. Ryan McKenzie, can you give me the rundown with or what nutrients do you suggest for soil? Wanted to try something different from Remo. For sure. Well, my personal favorite obviously would be Green Planet, as many people know. Big fan of the 3-part, and then I use a lot of their other secondaries on top of that. If you're not wanting to go with Green Planet, you can always go Advanced. Advanced and Remo nutrients are very similar in basic concept. Remo was part of the team that first developed the first advanced nutrients, that he left and went on and did his own thing. So my favorite go-to, my happy place obviously, would be the Green Planet nutrient line. So that's where I like to go. I suggest the 3. What's up, Marky? Peace and love to the UK as well. I hope you're doing well, buddy. What's up, Danny Themen? Hello from Holland. I don't got much Dutch. Probably the only thing in Dutch I really know how to say is "Geef een grote piemel." I learned that at the age of 15, hanging out with some Dutch people over in France. Lekker. That's about it. But hey, I hope you're doing well over in Holland. I actually briefly lived in the city of Utrecht. Well, technically it was just outside of Utrecht, but yeah, I call it Utrecht. So yeah, good times. Slowly but surely, dirty or catfishing, slowly but surely, we're working on it. By the time I'm done, we'll have a story to tell at least, I'll tell you that one. All right, everybody, I'm just reading. Wallyfish says, good morning / night, says Squatch. Hope you're doing good, man. I'm doing well enough. Have a blessed day, you as well, and much 420 love to you as well. Yeah, no, Green Planet's the shit, my humble 2 cents. I love their products, you know. Nice one, Danny Thurman. So you're down in the Amsterdam. I've spent some time there, and it was a good time. Okay, very cool, Warren Bay level. I don't speak any of that either, sadly. Hey, much love to you, Pot TV. Actually, Pot TV, while I have you here on the show, I was talking to Glenn Wells yesterday. He was popping by. He wanted a few different seeds to play with for this outdoor season, so we gave him a couple of things that we've been developing that might do really well in the climate here. But Glenn was telling me about this idea for the dating pot show being basically produced by yourselves and canamatch.ca. Not only do I have a lot of ideas for how we should execute this show, I want to be the host of it. Uncle Potsquatch wants to come and be the host of the cannabis dating show. Me and Glenn were brainstorming a bit yesterday. I got a lot of good ideas. So I think we should all maybe have a Zoom meeting. I mean, I am going to be in Vancouver actually next week, so who knows? Maybe everyone's available. It's hard to say. But we should maybe do a Zoom meeting, because I got some good ideas for that, and I actually think it's an extremely hilarious idea, and I think it could be a lot of fun, both for exposure for Pot TV, cannabis culture, canamatch.ca, and, well, you know, at the end of the day, everyone's always said, my God, Josh, you're such an overactor, you should be the host of a show, a game show. So, hey, it could be fun, but we should all have a chat on that one. Because when Glenn was starting to brainstorm some of the ideas that had been thrown around about this cannabis dating show, I love it. I think it's great. I think it's really funny. And I think we could have a lot of fun. Like, one of me and Glenn's ideas was like, you know, all the potentials, right? They all roll a joint, right? And so it's like, okay, so based on the joint they've rolled you and their cannabis selection, who would you prefer to take out on a date? And, you know, we got a bunch of different fun ideas. You know what I mean? So we should all have a chat, though. Anyway, much love to that idea. We'll move on. But let me know. We should all do a Zoom or something about that one. What's up, Jeremiah Sanchez? I hope you're doing well. All right. What's up, Ganjanani, old mama? Cheers to Wallyfish as well. Where's Wallyfish? I miss Wallyfish? Oh, shit. All right. Hello, goodbye, Wallyfish. Peace out, buddy. All right. But, yeah. So, basically today is just sort of a basic chores day. You know, flushing, plucking, getting ready for the darkness. Do 48 hours of darkness, and then it's going to come time for harvest time. So again, like we were sharing yesterday, you're going to have a bunch of content coming out this week. Today's show is obviously today's show. We'll release a video, which we will shoot tonight, but release tomorrow for you. And then you'll have the show Wednesday. We'll do that show at 5. And then on Thursday, we will release a harvest episode. You saw someone shouting at a tree today. It was amazing. Well, hopefully they were doing all right. At the end of the day, always take that with a grain of salt. Some people do struggle with real mental health issues, right? So maybe we shouldn't make fun of that. But, hey, there you go. I mean, I yell at my trees sometimes, but I'm usually talking lovely to them. All right. What's up, Reverend Veritas? Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. What's up, Dale Ski OG? Good to see you, buddy. All right. So, let's talk about the next run. The next run, we're definitely going to be doing some blue cheese, that's for sure. We're definitely going to be running some of that Galactic Citrus Shiva, that's also for sure. Part of my great debate right now in my head, maybe you can all give me some input on that, is should we just do a 2-strain run? Because we are going to be pheno hunting and pheno looking at that new cross. We have yet ourselves to run this blue cheese by Girl Scout cookies as well. So we're going to be pheno hunting on that one too. It'll be, what do you think? Should we just stick it with those two? We'll run those two, or should we incorporate a few other strains in there as well? Part of me is kind of thinking, let's just pop a crap ton of beans of those 2 strains, and that could be a fun, get it some nice blue cheese by Girl Scout cookies, some nice sexy bag appeal, and let's also find out what happened with the Alien Rift by that Orange Hindu Kush. I mean, I think those could be that could be a fun run, and then that way too, we'll have one tent that we can do a stabilization on the Galactic Citrus, and then if we wanted to do some crossing with the blue cheese as well, that could be fun as well. Hey, welcome to the show. Eyes of the road, though, Texas Squatch. Be safe, my friend. All right. Jeremiah Sanchez says, Uncle Potts, have you ever had a plant that didn't branch out? Well, if you mean a plant that predominantly didn't really get all bushy but grew kind of like a giant bud, I've had plants kind of do that. So, like, if you go back in the channel way back when, to the Platinum Cookies Gone bud cross that we ran, that had a lot of, it basically had 2 main branches that came out. And for the most part, it had these 2 giant top buds. We had some smaller secondaries too as well. But I've had that. There was a strain back in the day called Bunker Bud. Bunker Bud came out of British Columbia, Canada. They stayed short and squat. They would branch out a little bit, but not tons. One of the big things that they would do is would make this giant top cola, kind of the size of a football. And so I've seen strains that don't branch out much. I mean, if you're meaning like more of a classic ruderalis, singular 1.5 foot singular bud, I've never had anything quite like that. But I have had stuff though that didn't branch out a whole heck of a lot. So yeah, I hope that helps. If you want to send me some pictures, I'm happy to take a look at that for you. All right. What's up, James Mercer? How you doing, my friend? Welcome. I hope you're doing well. What's up, UK Genetics? Much love, baby. Good to see you. Hey, what's up, David Fraser? I hope you're doing well. Back to Kilmarnock. I hope I'm saying that somewhat right, but I hope it's going well in Kilmarnock for the people down there. All right. But yeah, so what do we think, though? Should we just do the UK, do the blue cheese, by the Girl Scout cookies, and then the Galactic Citrus Shiva on the next run? I'm thinking yes. Let me know what you think, everybody, in the comments. I think it could be a good fun. So Jeremiah says, literally no, just one stem. Huh. I've had things close to that, but not quite that, literally. You should send me some pictures. I'm curious to see these, Jeremiah. Well, I do love pink tops. I mean, I'll tell you, Jeremiah, I'm a big fan of pink tops. I think it's really gorgeous. I've never myself had anything that went like a straight pink or had the classic pink pistils to it. I mean, a lot of the different pinks I've worked with from here have had definitely pink striations through them. But yeah, no, I've never had the joy of seeing something like solid like that. I would look forward to seeing that. Oh, UK Genetics, I would love if we were closer and I could have a clone of that blue cheese. Because, the pheno hunt is always half the battle. And, I've always loved cheeses and blue cheese in general. I remember the first time I met blue cheese, I would have been in my teens, and it was just such a funky thing. It's literally a proper phenotype of that blue cheese is going to have those blueberry notes to it with all the cheese at the same time. Like, it's just such a funky marrying of these two worlds. I mean, the terpenes, my friends. The terpenes of blue cheese is just, oh, it's amazing. It's such a special, special thing. All right, I feel like I didn't miss anything. Good, yep. What's up, Robert, Mr. Greenfingers Thomas? Good to see you, buddy. Actually, Mudswat, I would actually say it's actually kind of the opposite. You know, I would say kind of a later harvest is maybe not as much of the ethereal top high, but in the fact of it is in and of itself actually a more heavy high, more of a body hit, more of the quote-unquote classic couch locking with that ambering. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, in my humble 2 cents, I'd actually say picking later is going to be the heavier smoke and the heavier hit in terms of my sight on it. Unless you're classifying a heavy hit as kind of having that top THC, more ethereal top headiness, which to me isn't really a stronger high per se. It just kind of makes me feel all that anxious. I like later picks myself, so. But yeah. So, what's another exciting thing that we can talk about? We're going to be getting some of the new videos going as well on the channel of getting the vegetable garden outside going. So I'm going to be starting those plants in the next... oh, you mean the anxiety buds? Okay, cool. So we're meaning the same thing. We're just sort of talking about it in slightly different terminology. But so we're going to be getting a lot of the vegetables going for outside. So we're going to kind of share some videos on that this summer as well. You know, we don't just grow dope at Potsquatch Growers, even though it is technically our specialty, and that's typically what we're known for. But at the same time, we're also doing this as sort of an experiment to play with the YouTube. Let's see how YouTube responds when we release non-cannabis content. And play with that algorithm a little bit. You know, that's part of the fun in my mind for this one, right? So it is what it is, but we'll see. But we're getting very close to being able to plant outdoor plants here. So for those of you who are wanting to grow cannabis in the Fraser Valley this summer, if you haven't started your plants, my goodness, you should get them started inside now so you have a nice little established native baby to put them outside. I know certain parts of the world are already able to plant things outdoors. I was just talking to Greg about Cali's weather, and you know, they're basically in the season of where they can start getting plants in the ground very soon. We're still a few weeks off, I think, in terms of my guess. I still think we might get a couple more frosts out there. But I went out there and I tilled and got at least the initial work done on the garden bed. I smushed out all the root balls from the run we did at the end of summer. We threw them out there and let them freeze over winter. We've got tons and tons of earthworms in that garden bed outside, so it's looking pretty good, you know what I'm saying? So, James Mercer says, I have one plant that is so bushy I didn't top her, and she's just staying very small, bushy, don't think I'll get a lot out of her. Well, I mean, James Mercer, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, short and squat and bushy doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing sometimes. It can also mean like a nice thick super buds as well, because you've got that tight nodal spacing on it, which can lead to that. Oh, thank you very much, Reverend Veritas. Much love, man. It really does go a long way and helps a lot. Keep the lights on here, my friend. But yeah, so also, James, so a short doesn't necessarily mean bad. I mean, obviously size is going to be a function of kind of final yield. But like, if you look at how tiny these little alien rifts are, you know, they're short and squat, but they've got solid as hell buds. Like they're really quite solid and thick. And so from those, I'm still expecting to get at least 2, 3, 4 ounces per plant, even though they're so tiny. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it is definitely possible. No, we haven't done that yet, Daleski OG, and not to worry, we're only about 19 minutes and 27 seconds into the show. But yeah. Well, okay, so Nick, okay, so let's talk about ripeness, maturation, and flower in terms of how we're doing it. Why do most people talk about the trichrome color? Well, because really that's our gauge in terms of active cannabinoids. Okay, so that's really how we're looking at that. That's going to be always your primary. That is 100% the primary, but you're not wrong, Nick, in terms of talking about swollen calyxes, in terms of talking about watching our pistils as secondaries, and watching the maturation of the quote-unquote fruit itself. That is definitely an important part of watching as a secondary. Why is that important? Well, on certain strains, that fertility window is going to be limited. It's going to shorten itself fairly quickly. Why do we start watching when that happens? Well, because when that fertility window, okay, is a shorter one, when we start to see leaching out and swollen calyxes starting to happen in the maturation of that flower, we're going to be watching for new growth, okay? Because you're never going to be overly happy when we see new growth, okay? So when we see new growth on a plant or on a flower, that's often indicative of, ooh, we may have taken it past, at least on the secondaries, some of its ripeness. So the plant now, what it's doing is it's panicking, thinking it might die. So it's growing a new growth segment. After it does that, often one of its classical responses will be grow out neanthers. And then it's going to try to knock itself up and produce some seeds as quickly as possible to then perpetuate the species. So I would say that, yes, you're not wrong, Nick. Those things, swollen calyx, watching our pistils, watching the actual maturation of the tissues of the flower in and of itself making up our buds is a very important secondary set of characteristics for sure. The reason why trichromes, and I know I put an R in there, I like saying trachrome because that's how we said it as kids here in BC, and many of the people from my age bracket say it that way in BC because we think it's bala. We all were little, gangster wannabes when we were kids, and we trachrome, right? That's how we did it. But neither here nor there. Really, trikes are still going to be the number one. Okay, so your secondaries are very much what I just said, secondaries. Trikes in terms of nailing that window for the medicine in terms of what active cannabinoids are going to be present. Obviously, we're not doing a test on these. We're just using our eyeballs to watch. Is going to be your primary. But you're not wrong in that the secondaries are also very important, Nick. So I definitely will agree with you on that one. Check your settings on the TV, Ganjanana, if you can. Yeah, so Nick, just make sure you think about those as secondaries, okay? Never treat what you're seeing as that as a primary indicator. It's a secondary indicator, but it is an average marrying of those two things and what we're watching. That's for bloody sure. So yeah, I'll definitely agree with you on that, buddy. So let's talk about what we're seeing here on these plants. Well, we've watched perfectly finished pistils, almost all the pistils on almost everything for the most part. I would say on our secondaries. We've got a majority of the pistils have all shriveled up. They're all, our trikes are sitting at right now 100% milky. Well, it wouldn't be 100% because we got a lot of ambering too, but you know what I mean. Like everything's gone milky. We're not seeing any clear trikes or cloudy trikes anymore. And ambering isn't too heavy on it. I would say on the Gazers, Mad is 10 to 12% ambering, which is fine on those. And then, the Orange Hindu Kush, maybe slightly higher, maybe about a 15, 16% ambering on there. We don't have tons of ambering on the Alien Rift, but what we do have on the Alien Rift is 100% milkiness. It's pretty crazy. There is the odd amber here or there, but we're solid milk on those Alien Rifts. I haven't really been paying attention to this K-Town Kush by Cheese because whatever it turns into, I'm just going to make into rosin anyway. The K-Town Kush, yeah, she probably could have had a bit more time, but really at the end of the day, all the secondaries are finishing up nicely on her, so we're going to go be happy with that milkiness there and not worry about too much ambering. Mudswat says, how about harvesting the top part of the plant first that is usually ready first and letting the bottom half finish? Is that a thing? It is totally a thing. I've done that a lot in the past. Really at the end of the day though, I keep my lower buds and I'm just going to make rosin out of them technically, so the fact that they aren't as developed, I'm going to get much lighter colors because your color of rosin, okay, the number one indicator of where your color is coming from is actually the maturation of those trikes and those essential oils within the plant itself, okay? So, for me, having slightly less developed lower buds is not a bad thing. That's why I'm pressing into my rosins typically because I'm going to get some nice light colors, etc. Romello Gilbert, you retired, bro? What's your day job? Don't have a day job. I've been running this. I run my own company. So we're an international corporation. We're a CBD line. We're a lighting brand. I'm also a professional actor, writer, and comedian and filmmaker on the side. I also get paid by consulting companies and doing consults for very large grows, installs, renovations, upgrades, all those sorts of things. Not going to lie to you, things are often tight. We haven't had the store functioning in over 2 years. So that's been a hard thing, keeping the store open. It's cost a lot of money to do that. We've spent a bunch of money on trying to get the new website built. We've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on that. But, we are on the verge of having a lot of things start working for us, so things will get a bit easier. But no, I don't work a day job. I am a full-time Potsquatch, and then I'm also a professional actor, writer, comedian. I'm also a voiceover artist as well. No offense taken. Very valid question. Yeah, Romello Gilbert, yes, I am busy. And sometimes it's a bit hard to keep everything on track in my brain, but I do my darndest. And, not gonna lie to you, it's definitely been a tight few months for sure. I'm looking forward to getting the store up and running and getting our CBD line and our beard oil out there in the stores. And I'm looking forward to not having to be stressed out about keeping the power bill paid here and etc. As much as I have been. But also looking forward to hopefully having some good film projects kind of coming up this year as well. So Romello Gilbert, one thing I'm excited about is there's a new television sort of, I guess it's a limited series or a mini series, limited mini, but kind of the same thing, I guess. So it'll be a 6-part horror mini series that's coming out on Lumi. It'll be coming out this spring. I will be going at the end of the month to the cast and crew premiere of that and getting to see that in its final production. Not a lot of lines in it, but I had a shitload of screen time, and trust me, I got the spirit in the show. So you'll be able to see me. You can't miss me in it, and it'll be cool. It's a show called Shadow of the Rougarou. It's coming out on Lumi. I'll let everybody know when it's officially out on Lumi. The cool thing about that show is, to my knowledge, it's the first ever Indigenous story-based horror series made with the actual approval of the elders of the tribe, which is pretty fucking rad in my mind. So the elders were not only consulted on the script, they were included. And this project was something that took a long time to kind of get together. I both consulted on the script for it. I participated in helping to do with the table reads for Netflix and with the elders and stuff. And then I ended up playing a small supporting role in that show as well. So it'll be fun to see. I haven't been on set in a while, so it was nice to kind of shoot something after COVID, and hopefully it'll open up some other doors for us to do other things. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Nick. We definitely put them right up to their ripeness window. Got a nice cannibalization going, a nice finish going on them. They are definitely ready for tonight, going into their darkness. But no, I'm pretty excited for chopping these down and trimming it up. Oh, Reverend Veritas, we could write a number of different shows over the stupid things I've done over the years. I think a lot of people would be very surprised to find out all of the random things I've done over the years, both for work and just what I've done. I've traveled the world. I've lived all over the world. Well, no, not all over the world. I mean, I've lived in different parts of Europe, and I've lived in North America. But I've traveled over to Asia. I've been a guest of the Chinese government many years ago on the Canadian delegation to the Spirit of Bethune Conference. I'm a published author in China. There's a lot of stupid shit over the years we've done. So there'll definitely be a few chapters to my biography by the time I kick the bucket or go to write it. Let's put it to that way. So Ganchanana, I flushed yesterday. I will be flushing one last time today, doing a super duper heavy final flush, and then we will be going into the darkness tonight. And that'll be the last water we give those. Favorite place I've lived, BC. I'm originally from Ontario. I moved out west over like 22 years ago, I guess. I think I may have enjoyed Europe a bit more. I wasn't really happy in my first marriage, to be completely honest. So life kind of sucked. But yeah, BC's my home. I'm always happiest in BC. British Columbia, Canada, West Coast, baby BC, but I'm a BC grower. I learned to grow in BC. I grow in BC. I'm one of the leading growers in BC. And that's kind of my thing, So BC is very much my home. I'm more of a travel kind of guy. I like traveling. I like going to places. But, you know, I'm always happy to come back home, you know what I'm saying? But good question, though. And also, by the way, anyone at home, if you ever have like a question, it doesn't necessarily have to be pot related. If you've got a question you've been itching to ask Uncle Potsquatch, I'm usually a fairly open book, so I don't mind answering stuff. I've heard it's pretty nice down there too, Romello, Gilbert. I've never had the joys of going down there myself. You know, South America, Central America have always been places I've wanted to check out. My wife spent some time down there. My only concern is it gets a little hot. I overheat really easily. No, Ganjanani or Mama, the most I've ever done, maybe I've done 98. Maybe I did, or 96. Maybe I did do a 4-day once. I've done 24, 48, 72, and let's be fair, I'm pretty sure I may have done a 96 hour a couple of times, many moons ago. 48 is the best, I find. 24 is not quite enough. 48 really has this magical shift in a lot of the terpene profiles, final usage of sugars. Okay. 72, I find terpenes begin to degrade a little bit, and not in a way I like. So yeah, 48 is kind of my happy place in terms of that dark period. Oh, snap, Reverend Veritas. Well, tell us a fun story of Iowa. Oh, wow. That's intense, Roman. What did it look like after that 3.5 weeks of darkness? What's happening, Eric Grant's Artistry? Good afternoon to you as well. Nick says, thanks. I hope I wasn't coming off as a smartass. No. It's all because I've been growing 10 years and I'm still learning new things every day. Hey, I've been growing over 21 and I'm still learning things every day, you know. One of the biggest lessons I'll give to any new or old grower, one of the true things that should be a mantra in your head as a grower, is the true grower is the forever student. Anyone who ever uses the term master grower or anything along those lines is a turnip, okay? And I'm just going to use a nice turn of phrase there. They're a bloody turnip or a turkey, okay? There's no such thing as a master grower. Yes, technically they say after doing something for 10,000 hours, you would be qualified under colloquial, classical definition as a master. I've met that requirement multiple times over. I don't say that I'm that. I am a very gifted grower. I'm a knowledgeable grower. I'm decent at what I do. I'll go toe-to-toe against anyone. But the true grower is the forever student, okay? That's got to be your mantra to hold on to. You know, you learn something new every grow. Every grow is about learning. Every time you do a grow, I encourage people to change something up, try something new, play around. I don't ever do anything quite the same every time. I love to switch it up and play around. This time we cut out half the rigs we were using. We were running higher temperatures at lights on. We're going with these small little buckets. We did next to no veg time, you know. And I'm playing around with stuff. We were also coupling that with then doing some hardcore photo stressing on the beginning part, okay, of our start, because we're doing these F1s, we're pheno hunting and pheno testing and watching the stress, you know what I'm saying? You know? So it's always about changing it up and having fun, you know? Having fun, too, is such an important part of growing. You know, it's a holistic therapeutic thing. You know, and getting to spend time with your plants, working on your plants, watching them grow, whether you're going from clone or from seed, is really one of the most beneficial things I could recommend for anybody in terms of their own mental health, their own energy. You know, one of the things I'm excited about is it's been such a long time since we've grown anything we've bred and developed. Yes, it's just an F1, so we're just looking at phenos right now, and maybe we'll be lucky and find something we're willing to maybe do a hypothetical F2 on the Galactic Citrus Shiva with. You know, the other strain we're going to be rocking is that Blue Cheese by GSC. I haven't even grown that one. It was a gift from one of our fellow Potsquatches out here in BC. You know, so that'll be part of the fun for me, but that'll be a new thing on the next run. I think we're going to go straight 3-gallon pots on the next run. I gotta save my pennies so I can go buy some more 3 gallons because I don't have quite enough of them in-house. But I'm really looking forward to that, and it'll be fun to share that with all of you. Even though it's just an F1, it's something that we've created on the channel. We were doing it side by side with this run here. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. Hell yeah, Jeremiah Sanchez. I dig that. I like that. Sorry, everybody. I'm just reading. So, no mold, eh? That's awesome. What strain did you do that with, Roman Reckless? Oh, cool. I dig it, Roman Reckless. That's kind of how I finish my seeds. I let the plant die. I let the seeds stay on stalk until it's, not necessarily dried out per se, but sometimes they are by the time I get around to them if I've got a bunch of, crosses going. But I like to kind of do that final shock finish when I'm producing seed. It could be. I mean, and Reverend Veritas, I've always felt a close affinity to Harry from Harry and the Hendersons. I don't know if any of you have seen that film, but it's a great film. Check it out. Oh, Big A Bud's doing well. I'm looking at it right now, Big A. It's solid. Very solid. I definitely need to go in there and do some plucking on her and pull some of those desiccated leaves. Oh, Miss K's garden. I missed your question from before, too. Before you go, I want to answer that, Miss K. 1 second, Miss K. I'm going to go back and find it. Bear with me here. I missed your question. I meant to answer it, and my brain forgot. Bear with me, everybody. I'm trying to find Miss K's question here. Or maybe it was a statement. Blue cheese is very cool, by the way, Miss K. I think that may have been... I remembered it as a question, but it was more of a statement. Okay, never mind. Sorry about that, Miss K. But yes, blue cheese is a very interesting strain. It's very, very tasty. Yes, mud swat, it most certainly does do things. It's actually been tested by many people. There is actual scientific proof that there is a change in the final use of sugars. There's also a lot of shifting going on in terms of the terpene profiles and a tempering of the cannabinoids and the active cannabinoids to the plant material. Many people called it bro science for a long time, and it is very much not a bro science. It has been proven. It has been proven in terms of the utilization of the final sugars. It has been proven in terms of the shifting and tempering of terpenes and cannabinoids. So yes, it does work for that. Oh, what percentage? Oh, there was a question. Thank you, Aaron. So Miss K, if you're still there, what percentage of ambering do I shoot for? That again changes with every strain. On a sat dom or a sat hybrid, that's a little satty. I try not to shoot for too much because it's not a natural progression for a sat as much as it is for an indica. For my true cushes, my heavy-duty indicas, I'm normally shooting for more of a 20, 25, 30% ambering on those. So on my indicas, my cushes, I like to have a very heavy ambering. I like that good left hook to it, and that's a big thing for me. Stony Baker MD, you could totally do it with light depot. So if you're doing perpetual, I would just say maybe build yourself a giant box with an air intake so you keep some air movement going on. And then you build that on a vent so the light can't go in. So there are ways, though, Stony, in a perpetual to actually do that 48 hours of darkness. Thank you, Stony. Yeah, no, it's always fun. You never know where the show's going to go. And we just sort of start chatting and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? I won't lie to you, though, everybody. I'm pretty excited about the Galactic Citrus Shiva. I'm genuinely excited to see. It may suck. We may have to try again to create a new Galactic Citrus Shiva, a new F1, because we may not get anything in this cross, because the male that I picked wasn't like a huge pollinating male. It did produce pollen, but not like the Kaitangata male. And I normally like to move forward with things when I see a heavy pollination happening, right? Where the pollination on this one wasn't huge in terms of it. Still produced a lot of seed, mind you. But the one thing I did like, though, is the male stunk. Like, it was sticky, it was resinous. and it smelled like a female plant, which is always also a very exciting thing for me. Stinky male usually is going to help the next generation or that cross to become as stinky as possible. If you can get stink on both sides, it's going to be good. James Mercer, does waiting an extra week to add yield decrease THC levels? I'm always hearing you think it's ready to wait a week, but I'm trading yield for potency. Potency is not just THC. Let's cover that first. THC is the main active cannabinoid to cannabis, okay, obviously. But potency doesn't necessarily just come from the THC. Terpenes, there's psychoactive terpenes. There's other cannabinoids that are psychoactive in there, and it's all kind of working together, okay, to be doing different things in the system. So your potency isn't a direct derivative from THC. I would also say that in my personal experience with them, later picks with higher amounts of ambering, which is THC shifting to CBN, actually are heavy hitting. They hit harder than an earlier pick. Later picks are much stronger, more couch locky, which to me is what I call a heavy hit, not having that ethereal THC-derived milky buzz, as it were. So, by leaving it longer, I will say that rule of thumb, when you think it's ready, leave it an extra week. That's more for newer growers. The longer you do this, you become pretty at one with your plants. I've pushed these plants to the utmost extent I could go. I couldn't go another week on these. Could I have taken them down at week 8? Yeah. But I wanted to try to push them to week 9, so we did. And at the end of the day, I'm happy that we did. You are gaining yield because CBN, in terms of its actual weight, it's heavier than THC. So when you see that ambering, it is adding a little bit of weight. Plus, you're getting that extra stacking. The last 2 or 3 weeks, your weight of your bud will double, or close to it. That's when a lot of that tightening is happening. That's when a lot of that real girthiness or densifying, that bulkifying, call it what you will, is happening. Is in the last 2-3 there. If you were going to cut it early and then where that rule of thumb, that extra week is a good thing, I don't think you're going to lose a lot of potency on that one, but you are going to gain a significant amount of weight though. I hope that helps. What's up, Shiner Pops? How you doing, buddy? Second here, everybody. I'm just reading. What's up, Stupad? So I'm just reading. Bear with me here, everybody. And also, Potsquatch, if you're early on in flower, if you wanted to flip the whole room into 48 hours of darkness or doing a 24, you're not going to hurt your plants. It's not really going to cause them to herm. It's more light leaks that are going to potentially trigger herm, so you can get away with a lot more in the darkness, though. Also, too, Robin, I'll add to that, with the larger trikes, if you're wanting to make kind of hash out of it, or rosins, etc., you're going to find a much more resinous end product too. So leaving it that little bit longer, we're really maximizing the utilization of the final sugars within the plant's tissues to kind of get the plant as resinous as possible. Hell yeah! See, so Stoney, that to me, in terms of my eyes and my taste on things, sounds that extra week, it wasn't ready when you were going to take it down. It was just starting to really hit that readiness window by the time it finished that extra week there. Excuse me. Shawner Pops, right now I'm drinking a Table Saison small batch brew from Mountain View Brewing Co. It's a local small brewery here making some of the best craft beer around in British Columbia here in Hope, BC. I'm actually working really hard to try to get them to sponsor the show. We'll see. Yes, stroke it softly and maybe whisper in it. Whisper in its ear. I don't know about that, Shawner Pops. I would say, though, that Canadian beer in the last 10 years has really come a long way. In terms of the craft brewery and exploration. I don't think we can hold a stick to Germany or Belgium quite yet. But we've definitely come a long way in terms of our beer making abilities, especially when it comes to the craft beer world, I'll say that. What's up, Red Cloud? Hey, Shotter Pops, if you're ever in BC, buddy, let me know. I live in Hope. But I do come to Vancouver often. Or it's not hard to convince me to come to Vancouver. But if I come to Vancouver, we're drinking at my bar that I go to. And that's a real thing, Reverend Veritas. American beer is much waterier than Canadian beer, even when you're comparing it to the big name brands. We often make the joke about American beer being, piss water. No offense, America. Our beer is just typically a little bit stronger than yours. Bobs, Toronto T-Dot's not too bad. I'm originally from Ontario, but I'll put it to you this way. BC, I much prefer. The T-Dot has some great things. I love traveling there for work. They do a lot of voiceover stuff, and there's definitely some interesting shows and films that get shot there. Great nightlife scene in Toronto compared to Vancouver. A lot of good theater and comedy, but I definitely prefer British Columbia, Canada, man. Ja, Eugene, die Bitburger Pilsner ist sehr lecker, aber fuck, how do you say favorite? Favorite-ish? No, that's not the right word. My favorite German beer that I tried when I lived in Germany was called Kolchenbier, everybody. It was a Trappist beer made in Bavaria off using this water from this supposedly healing river. And it was kind of like a black lager in a sense. So it was black as night, but it tasted super light. But it was like 13.5%. My goodness, you had a couple of those, you felt it. Operation Annihilation, there's no such thing as a newbie question or a dumb question. Everyone's allowed to ask. I may have missed it though. Could you retype it, my friend? Oh, here we go. I found it. If autoflowers are going to flower no matter what, then why do I keep reading that autoflowers need 18 to 24 hours light cycle schedule? Anyway, anyone referencing that you shouldn't be running an auto at 24 hours of light is because cellular respiration occurs most effectively at night. That's when the plant is actually going to be doing mostly its photosynthesis. So giving it a bit of a rest is going to both yield a greater weight and a greater end result. You can run a true auto at 24. I've done it. Is it ideal for the best finished product that you can get? No. Will you potentially yield more doing it that way with 24 hours? Not even necessarily. And you need downgrading also the quality of the cannabis at the end. So an auto doesn't require a change. A true auto doesn't require a change in photo period, but it does like having a bit of a rest though too, for cellular respiration, aka photosynthesis, aka, yeah, that's what that's about there, Operation Annihilation. Labatt, my favorite Labatt beer would be Labatt's 50. Okay, can't get it in BC. Well, I occasionally can find it in like a super giant can, but I like Labatt 50 from Ontario. Interesting. Sounds like something my wife would try. I'm a little boring. I'm less brave. Oh, Keef and Chief, yes. Remember, just because the show says it's for the EU and the UK, that's referencing the time slot we're doing the show at, just to make it a little bit more accessible for those in Europe and the United Kingdom. Doesn't mean everyone else isn't allowed to come. Anyone can tune into the show and hang out, baby. Yeah, no, sounds about right, Stony Baker MD, in Canada, the drinking age is either 18 or 19, depending on where you are. Alberta and Quebec, I believe it's 18, and 19 in the rest of the country. So I can only imagine what it's like having to wait to being 21 to being allowed to drink. See, for me, growing up in Canada, I was a man-child, so at the age of 13, I could walk into a bar without ID and start drinking. So I was in bars at 13, but, I can only imagine what it was like, though, for a young American to kind of come up here and be like, whoa, I'm of legal drinking age here. Still being 2 years off the drinking age in your country. Hey, no worries, Operation Annihilation. Happy to help. Hey, thank you very much, Sean or Pops. I appreciate it, buddy. So Tommy D1, that's probably going to be a, now you say the same plants. Do you mean same plants as in they came from the same genetic source, as in they're clones from the same source? If it's that, that's going to have to do with your actual root ball development. So you can have a bunch of clones from the same mother plant, and they're all going to have slightly different orientations and different personalities when they grow out. That could be a few different contributing factors, but typically the number one that's going to cause those differential is your root ball, or lack thereof. So the one that's staying wet, when you go to harvest and you compare the roots in that one to the other ones, it's going to have less roots in that soil than the other ones are. What's up, Visible Farms? Bill Goy, good to see you, my friend. Hey, man, if I was American, I would have too, man. I would have come up to Canada and got drunk. Hell yeah. So Eric Grant's artist, try running them at 18.6. Try running them at 18.6. It'll definitely be the perfect set for a true auto to be running on. You know, I got a couple of buddies who do that. They warm up their beer too. You know, if you go over to the UK, you know, room temperature beers is kind of a thing for a lot of different types of beers. I've never personally been able to get past that one for myself. I got a buddy who likes to heat up his Guinness. He drinks Guinness warm. I can't do it personally. For me personally, if it ain't cold, I can't drink it. And it better have some carbonation or bite to it, or else I can't drink it either. Need it cold, and it needs to have some bite to it, or else I just can't. I struggle to get it down without gagging on it. Wow, 25 to be able to drink, that just seems excessive to me. But hey, Texas always makes interesting decisions on a lot of stuff I've come to notice, so we'll leave it at that. So Red Claws, the best results from a monster clone. I mean, every strain is going to be different. It's always a toss-up to when you take your cutting. So the earlier in flower you take it, the more easily it will root for you, but the milder the monster cropping nature will be. The later the flower, the harder to root, but the more monster crop you will get when it does in fact achieve revegetation. If you're going to take a cutting and do it into a jiffy puck, into a humidity dome, watch humidity domes when doing monster cropping because of that bud tissue relieving on that cutting. Okay, that's going to lead to potential bud rot and other health issues, mold, etc. So watch that. Double dipping is important. So do a gel first, then a powder. It's going to give you the best of both worlds. Some strains, some phenos are going to prefer a powder to a gel, so I like to do the double dipping technique. I've often gone with just straight water cloning though when it comes on my monster crop clones. Make sure you have an air pump going through an air stone, keep the water oxygenated, change out the water every 3 or 4 days. If you're having trouble staying on top of that, you can put a drop of bleach in there just to kind of make sure none of that gross muck that's going to suffocate new rootlet development out. But you know, it's basically using the concept of we're kind of saying to the rooting plant or the rooting monster crop cutting or that, you know, flowered branch, if you want to live, prove it. So I've had the best success oddly doing it just with straight water, to be honest with you. But if you're wanting to go to the jiffy puck route, do the double dip, or that would apply to also rock wool as well. Just watch your humidity domes though, okay? Watch the humidity dome because that can lead to some other issues that you're really not going to want to have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? What? Yeah, go boy. No, that makes sense, Tony. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's you got to take care of yourself, right? And that's another thing we should remember as growers. Always take care of yourselves as well as we do our plants. The better and healthier we are, the more capable we are going to be at being successful with running our grows. I'm not going to say that, Shonner Pops. How do my plants have so many branches? Genetics, just what they did. These genetics all have a very much super branchy nature to them. Kind of, I liken it to the tree of life, low, squat, and you know, we didn't really have to remove any of the lower branches because since we flipped so quickly. So we vegged for 3.5 weeks. We did 2.5 weeks in solo cups. We transplanted into the finishing pots, gave them 1 week of adjustment, and then we flipped right away. But the branching that you're seeing on all of these, that's just the genetics. That's just what they do. Well, aspirin, actually, Jeremiah Sanchez, the best thing to utilize in terms of aspirin works because it's acetylsilic acid, okay, which is very similar, and it registers the same to the plant's silic acid. It actually doesn't really play a huge thing in terms of necessarily getting into root. I mean, it could in a secondary way, but silic acid is produced in the plant when it feels it's under attack and at threat of dying from typically pathogenic or infestation of bugs. So when we spray our vegging plants, okay, down with acetylsilic acid, we are then triggering the natural hormonal response within the plant itself because it registers the acetylsilic acid the same way as the natural silic acid it would produce in response to other things attacking or harming it. Mud swat, another big thing though too is making sure you have enough light too, my friend. Make sure you have enough light. Yes, the Gazzers paper trick, it is legitimate. Shonner Pops, I mean at 2 weeks you shouldn't be too bad. I mean, I'm not a huge humidity dome guy, so what I would say is use your humidity domes, but maybe pull them off for an hour or two every day as well. Let them get some fresh air in there, if that makes sense. But at 2 weeks, you shouldn't be too bad. Now, mind you, like if I took something like this, which is essentially 9 weeks of flower, I'm going to be a little nervous about putting that mature flower into a humidity dome. That's not going to be good. Jamie Morrow, you can. I don't typically because it's a waste of money. So I typically start incorporating my carbonated water trick in about week 2 or so. Ganjadana, we did top them once. None of them took to the topping except for a couple of the orange Hindus. So none of these took to the topping. This actually did have a main top coal, the Candied Gazzers one here. But the reason why it's built that way is I actually snapped that top main stalk over, and then that allowed all these secondary branches to kind of come up the way it did in the shape it did. But yeah, the Gazzers Madness didn't really take to the topping in any sense of the word. It just kept doing what it wanted to do. The Alien Rifts didn't take to it. They kept doing what they were wanting to do. The K-Town Kush by Cheese, the K-Town definitely took to it, as did the Orange Hindus. I'm doing well, Family Trees Grow Coast. How you doing? Well, most certainly, for sure, Visible Farms Pilgor. I mean, environmental factors and in terms of how we tweak that is always going to play into it. But we're not really talking about secondary kind of environmental factors. We're talking more generalities right now. But at the end of the day, you know, we definitely talk about environmental factors, but, you know, I don't want to give too clear of an answer in terms of a specific environment unless someone asks about a specific environment. I find it best to answer questions more of a generalized nature of the show. And if people want greater specification, in my humble 2 cents on going into a certain thing, we can do it that way. Trying to kind of keep the information open-ended for as many people as possible. I hope that makes sense. No. Well, I mean, do I use what could be called an organic amendment? Occasionally, but no, I'm not buying amendments. I'm not buying a pre-made organic amendment and using that, no. If I'm adding anything else into my soil, it's typically coming from in-house and something I've made out of something. If that makes sense. And then if I want to grow organically, I'm more of a super soil kind of a guy. So I like to mix up my own super soils, let them bake out, break down, and then I'll get around to using them. Do I prick my plants before the 48 hours of darkness? I have. And you know what? Hell, maybe I'll do it this time just for you, Tony. I do find, though, remember that the pricking technique, where it definitely will be beneficial in that 48, you're going to get the best results out of what I call the micro agitation technique, okay, throughout flower. So starting, the second you see trikes starting to show up on your flower, that's when you should do it. Start doing a bit of that micro agitation. Jamie Morrow, any progress on the caddy? Not the 52, it's still in the barn. The one outside, I don't have any money right now that I can put towards that. I'm still trying to figure out how to cover my mortgage this month. So I want to rebuild the engine. I want to turbo it out and do those drag races this summer, but that really is going to be whether or not I can afford to do it. I may just get it fixed and get it back on the road and drive it the way it is. I've also got to save up to pay for a wedding too, so yeah. It is what it is. Gloria Miller, we could argue at another time in terms of what a PCR test does. One, PCR tests are actually a very legitimate tool. However, we're not going to get into the COVID thing. I will say, is it a perfect tool? Dear God, no. Is it a tool that needs to be used with appropriate application? Was it used appropriately by governments and scientists around the world during the pandemic? Not necessarily. At the end of the day, we don't really talk about, we're not going to get too into the COVID thing here. We don't really talk about certain things that we could all have differences of opinion on. This is a safe place for all people. So Gloria, where you're welcome to stay and be part of the show, keep the COVID stuff to yourself, okay? We're not getting into that on the show. But much respect, though, nonetheless. Thank you, Shauner. I tried my best. Yeah, no, silica is definitely a very important secondary component to our grows. I typically gain my silica, though, from just using diatomaceous earth. I don't buy an expensive pre-made silica product. I just go buy some DE. It's cheap, it's effective, it's silica. It'll be fine. These days, family trees grow coast. I use my soda stream just because it keeps it simple. And, you know, when I first invented the technique, I was using club soda, low sodium club soda. But I would look really weird when I went to the store because I'd buy like 20, 40, 60 bottles of club soda and then walk up to the checkout with just that. And I'm like, oh, and here, and like I throw like a chocolate bar or something in. And they're like, oh, having a party? I'm like, nope, it's from a plant. I just stare. They'd stare at me. It'd get a little weird. But anyway. I'm getting married, Jeremiah Sanchez. This is an engagement ring. My wife asked me to marry her, or Mrs. Potsquatch asked me to marry her. That's why I got to fly to Germany actually in the next month or two or a couple of months, because I got to go get the death certificate from the German government of my first wife, who I'm still legally married to. Bear with me, everybody. I'm playing catch up. What's up, old Dutch master? How you doing, my friend? Welcome to the show. Yeah, root growth for sure. You know, and for me, my thing is that silica is such an important thing for making generalized cell strength, strong cell walls. So our actual branching is going to have that strength when we get these heavy flowers starting to develop on our plants. I mean, so it is a very important component in that regard. Hey, don't worry, Stony Baker MD. I mean, that's always been the whole point of our shows, is trying to engage and interact with all of you at home. That's kind of what's fun about it. Well, I am, but the first wife's dead. Jeremiah, I call her my wife, but we're technically engaged. So Mrs. Potsquatch and I have been together almost 6 years now, I think, something like that. And she asked me to marry her year and a half ago. And we'll be getting married. We're actually going to live stream the wedding or do something. I'll do something so all of you at home can participate and be present at the wedding at least for a while. We may turn the comments off for that show because I'm not going to be there to deal with probably some of the haters are going to show up and be dinks. But yeah, then again, we've got a really good moderator team, so maybe we can have the comments on as well. But we are going to be getting married Friday the 13th in October 2023. That's when we're getting married. We're getting married hopefully at this old haunted church by here. And it's going to be a gothic Addams family wedding. The dress Mrs. Potsquatch is having made is all black. Everybody's going to dress up and it's going to be fun. At least my side of the family will. Hey, thank you very much, Visible Farms, Bill Gore. And Visible Farms, you guys are getting married too soon. You're getting married on 420 this year, aren't you? I'm pretty sure. I'm like 98% sure I'm right on that. Well, you know, much what you're not wrong. And one of the funny things about her asking me to marry her was one of our earliest dates. And she goes, well, how do you feel about a woman asking you to marry her? And I said, well, I've already been married once and it was abysmal. So you know what? Fuck it. Make me a special fucking princess, you know? That's actually on the channel. I think we called it on because it was actually live streamed on this channel. So, because her YouTube didn't have enough subs to live stream it. And she tricked me. I didn't know what was going on until the very end. If you want to watch that, there's some crazy wind in the background, so the sound's not great. But if you want to go watch that, you can totally go watch it. It's still on the channel. I believe it's called something Mrs. Potsquatch Has Something to Sing About. And if you go back in time on the channel, you can find that. Shauner Pops, how many plants am I allowed to have? Well, Canadians are allowed 4. I have a license for 98 plants under the medical system. I've held a medical license for a decade and a half, I guess now, or a little over a decade and a half. So I'm allowed 98. But the average Canadian household, and this is per household, not per person, is allowed 4 plants. Unless you have a medical license saying otherwise. Yes, Shauner Pops, I lived in Germany. I was living in Bavaria. First I lived in Ingolstadt and then I was living in the Stadt aus Augsburg in the Oberhausen district. Ooh, sounds sexy, Gazzers. Yes, so Jamie Morrow, microagitation is the concept of triggering the plant's self-defense mechanism to cause it to produce greater amounts of resin, greater amounts of trikes, and to just trike out and go hardcore in terms of that. Because again, you know, the trikes, the resins are all produced in part of the defense of the plant, right? So we just take a little pin and we just pierce just through the exterior skin layer, like that. So we're not actually harming the plant doing this way. Use a sterile needle, by the way. But we're making the plant think it is. So we're not actually putting it at risk, but we're making it think it's at risk. So then it triggers these self-defense mechanisms with the plant. What we're doing is what I like to call manipulating plant psychology. I hope that makes sense, Jamie Morrow. Hey, thank you, peace. Have a great day. It's actually next year. It'll be in 2023 that we're getting married. Friday the 13th next year in October, too. It'll be funky. A lot of people are like, oh, you're getting married on Friday the 13th? Of course I am. We're twisted weirdos. Well, there you go, Stony Baker MD, right? Mom's the word, as it were. Quote unquote. Oh, yeah, no, we haven't done that, Jeremiah. You know, with almost basically being fucked out of our first house, then having to sell that, then buying this, and COVID, and we want a big wedding with a bunch of people. I don't want people to have to wear masks, and I don't want any fucking rules telling me what to do at my wedding. So we put it off until, and we also wanted to get married on a Friday the 13th. So we picked Friday the 13th in October 2023. So that's when we're going to be getting married. So, and it's realistically going to be a very expensive wedding. And maybe not that expensive compared to some people's weddings, but I'm a pretty simple guy, and I don't, I don't have a lot of money, and well, neither of us do. We're artists, let's be fair. But so it gives us enough time to attempt to try to get the money together to pay for it as well. Oh, it's going to be fun, old Dutch master. I'm getting my old priest dad out of retirement to do the wedding himself, so he'll officiate the wedding, and I'm going to dress him up like he's a dead zombie or some shit. It's going to be fucking hilarious. Tommy D. I know I'm a little late on this follow-up question, but should I water or wait for it to dry? You don't have to wait for it to fully dry out every time you water, but at least once a week, I like to let my plants, do a full dry out, and super dry, and then I bring it back into hydration. Hell yeah, Texas Squatch. Yeah, it's gonna be epic, man. I'm looking forward to it, Eric Grant's Artistry. Everything's gonna be black, not an ounce of white anywhere. I ordered the cake already like a year and a half ago, and I got the baker to figure it out. So the cake, when you cut into it, will bleed. Hell yeah, Jamie Mara. Some people are like, "Well, why do you got to get married?" I mean, it's just an official piece of paper, and you're right. But I mean, and for me, it's not like getting married in the eyes of God. I mean, growing up in the church, I don't really believe in the Greco-Christian God. I mean, if anything, let's be fair, some of the ancient religions make a lot more sense than Christianity does. Probably the thing that makes the most sense to me, if I were to talk about anything, would probably be the Force from Star Wars. That makes more sense than Christianity does. But at the end of the day, I do come from the son. I am the son of two priests. So for me, it's not getting married in the eyes of the church or God. I don't give a shit what other of them think, even if God's real. No offense, but it's to mark that, and it's a personal thing for us, right? And and that's a decision in the symbol for us to do it, and that's a big deal for us personally. So yeah, I got married and separated, and then she died. I'm getting married again now, but that's why I've got to fly to Germany. I got to go to Germany to get the death certificate. I'm also going to have a legal battle with her family because I technically am her next of kin, as well as all the books she published. All of that is all in my name. And I also may have grounds of suit against the German government as well because they didn't contact me and they knew we were married. They had no permission to bury her or do anything without my permission. So it is what it is. But it's not going to be a fun trip, but I still got to go do that. No, James Mercer, this one works. We've been together long enough that it's only getting better. The suffering I got out of the way in my first marriage. No, Dalesky OG, I have done it. I do not like stock splitting or stock spiking. I believe that it opens up the plant to pathogenic issues that can cause a negative thing. You can have the same results. That my being against stock splitting is why microagitation really has become a sort of a prominent thing in one of the tools in my toolkit as a grower. Simply put, I just don't like the idea of it. So no, I have done it, but I'm not into it. Hell yeah, Stoney. That's so cool. Are you guys going to stream it, Visible Farms, Pilgor? Anywhere? Videotape it? Let us see. Chandra Pops, my first marriage was not a good one. She was a brilliant writer, and I was very unhappy. My whole beard fell out. That's how unhappy I was in Germany. It was not. I got married young, and I got married. It wasn't healthy. It wasn't a good time. I hated my life, and I was not healthy. So, I came back home to Canada. Originally, I came back to try to find work because my German wasn't great, and really, it was not a lot of work there. So I came back, and things went the way they did. Hell yeah, Gazzers. I am looking forward to going back to Germany and not having a crazy wife and enjoying myself. Looking forward to that. I like that, Stoney. Typically, Jamie Morrow once a week. Typically once a week for microagitation. What did I miss? Oh, fuck. Reverend Veritas, I'm glad you're here too, and I'm really sorry about the passing of your mother, but I'm glad that we could be here with you today. And, dude, you know, loss never goes away when we lose someone we care about like that. You know, even though I wasn't on great terms when we separated, I was friends with my first wife. We were friends, we were still talking, you know. I haven't lost a parent yet, but I can only imagine what that's like, and I'm really sorry, Reverend Veritas. We're all with you, and we love you, buddy. What's up, Kev D? Wow, Stoney. Double tap on the march, man. My heart goes out to you as well, buddy. Oh, Reverend, I'm sorry, buddy. What's up, 420 MF UK? How you doing, my friend? Oh, Snaptails, KOG. Congratulations, buddy. Hell yeah, peace. Have a great day, my friend. I agree. Yeah, well, you know, and that's the thing, man. Hockey anywhere will fuck up your knees. My poor Uncle Paul, you know, he would have went pro, but then all the cartilage in his knees got shredded. So I can definitely understand that. Well, Gazzers, really doesn't matter. You're basically common law, which is like 95% the same. It's not really any legal difference. You should do it. I'll marry you guys, and I'll dress up like a hobbit or a dwarven warrior. It'd be hilarious. Thank you, Roman Reckless. I'm not looking forward to that one, Roman, but it's something that's got to be done, so I got to go do that. Peace out, family trees. Go coast. Keep it real. Hey, you know, Shauner, that's all right. If it happens by accident, you know, just keep on keeping on. I agree with you, Stoney Baker MD, especially in this modern day society. Yeah, sounds good, Texas. Go rest up your back, buddy. Sorry, everybody. I'm just reading and playing catch-up real quick here. Yeah, so Operation Annihilation, remember, they're just going through like stress and shock. You know, just keep loving them, keep on top of them. Don't overhydrate them, but don't let them get too dry either. And just, they will pick up or they will die. I know that sounds horrible, but if they die, they die. It's just one of the natures of these things. But, you know, I wouldn't be freaking out though. They're just adjusting and coming to terms with it. Once those roots start to kind of come to terms with their new environment, start mapping it out, start bringing in new water, etc., into the plant's tissues, you'll be all right. That's right, Chef Light 420. We're almost at 24.6 thousand. We're working our way to that first 25,000. What's up, the infamous Johnny K? It's been a while, buddy. Good to see you. Welcome to the show. Hey, no worries, the infamous Johnny K. You've been a busy guy, and you know, COVID and all that, right? Everyone, the infamous Johnny K is one of my close friends out here. He's a god of karaoke nights. How's your mom doing, Johnny, by the way? She doing good? How's did she beat the cancer and stuff? She doing okay? I hope she's doing well. Last I heard, she was doing a lot better, but I can't remember. Oh, fuck. Shauner Pops, I'm really sorry, man. That sounds absolutely horrible, bro. Hey, but you know what, Shauner Pops, I can tell you something. I grew up the son of two priests. I don't know if you're a religious person, but there's no such thing as hell. There's no punishment for suicide if someone does take their own life. And I know that he will be in a better place. And whatever was his torment and pain in life, I do believe that very much will be gone now, and he will be in a much more peaceful place, bro. I really believe that. Hey, stay lifted, and much love and blessings to you and to Opie Pilgor. Much love, brother. Jansen Dennis, I mean, I haven't played a lot with their genetics, to be fair, so I don't have a huge one on them. I've got a feeling I may have played with something from them at one point in time, at one point, but I can't even remember. So I don't really have a huge one. Other people might have opinions. I open up the floor to anyone who has tried Humboldt Seed Co. Feel free to share your experiences with them. Potsquatch Seed Co., which will actually just be, Potsquatch Growers Army Genetics, will be in existence as soon as we can afford to go legal, Hell yeah, Shauner Pops, and bro, like, I can only imagine what that would be like, dude. I didn't know about when my first wife died. I've been told she killed herself. I don't currently know how she did. I know that I talked to her a day and a half before it supposedly happened. I won't lie to you. I've got a weird feeling, though, that she didn't kill herself. I think something else happened. But regardless, I can at least relate to a certain point on that. And suicide is never easy. It's never easy, and it's one of the most heartbreaking things to think of someone feeling so lost and overwhelmed or broken that is the only option that makes sense and the only option in their mind that can bring relief. My only thoughts to those who choose to take their own life is that may you find all the peace and happiness and health that you couldn't find on this plane of existence, My heart goes out to you, buddy, and I my heart and my mind, my thoughts are with you. I know that's not saying much, but it's what I can say at least. Oh, dude, Shauner Pops, and that's the thing with loss. I mean, that'll be something that you'll be struggling with in terms of it, even if you find your way to kind of being able to just sit with it in a healthy way. The one strong thing, Shauner Pops, coming from one guy who in his past self-medicated with alcohol a lot. Please be careful with the alcohol self-medication, okay? That'll get you, okay? I'm not saying don't drink. I drink, but please be ever so careful when it comes to the self-medication, especially when it comes to using alcohol for that, but okay? That comes from own personal experience. Just be very careful, okay? That's all. Now, Shauner Pops, I believe in you. You got a lot of people here who believe in you. And it's easy to tell someone to stay strong. What does staying strong mean? Staying strong doesn't mean you don't have pain. Staying strong doesn't mean you don't have days that feel harder than any day before. Sometimes true strength is just sitting with it, accepting it, not feeling the need to know what to do with the pain or where to tell it to go or to fix it, but just being with it, being present to it. I believe in you, buddy. And just be careful on the self-medication stuff, okay? That never ends well. Hell yeah, Roman Reckless. Congratulations on that, man. Dude, Tony, that's awesome. I'm glad those 3 reg blueberry seeds popped, man. That's awesome. Hey, we're here for you, Shauner Pops. I come from a long line of borderline alcoholics and alcoholics myself, Shauner Pops. My grandmother killed herself by jumping in front of a subway train, so I feel you, buddy. What's up, Aaron Bishop? Back to the lower 49. We're just having, real talk. We're having real talk about everyone's sharing stuff and their stories and stuff right now, and yeah. And at the end of the day, everybody, this is part of what this community is about, and not just the Potsquatch Growers Army, but the cannabis community, right? Cannabis is something that's a great recreational fun thing. It's a great medicinal tool. It's a great tool in so many different things in terms of society, And at the end of the day, sometimes just standing and being with each other, letting people open up a little bit, letting people share their stories, share the fact that we're all broken in some way, and sharing that with each other, sharing our stories, even if they're hard stories, can make all the difference. The community, us standing together. That's why for me, when I see all the arrogance and ego and competition and all of the fighting in our cannabis community, it breaks my heart. Because the community wasn't that back in the day. And it doesn't need to be that in the future. This plant, this community is something that can bring us all together. Give us common ground to share, to help, to build with each other. Even if we disagree on all these other superficial realities of society, religion, or this or that, none of that fucking matters anyway. That's why I do what I do. That's why I love what we all do here together and we've built here together is building this beautiful community for the people. And together we can get through, And for those of you who shared, I was reading them. I just didn't want to read everyone's personal stuff out loud there. I was trying to kind of talk to the greater whole of it all. And so for those of you who shared your stories, thank you for sharing your loss as well. We've all experienced pain and loss, Different stories of it, different versions of it, different levels of it. It shouldn't be about who's experienced more pain. It should all of us sharing pain, joy, and love together. That is the human condition. Through our pain and our heartbreak is where our lessons come. Through our pain and our heartbreak and our experience and our joy and our love is the common ground that all human beings can get together and communicate to each other. Culture, religion, political beliefs, etc. These are all superficial realities that we all build on top of the basic foundational core, which is the human heart or the human soul. That in and of itself stems out of the human experience. And if we can learn to communicate and stand and share and just be through that foundational core element, the world is a different place. All this other superficial crap that we all seem to fight over is rather stupid. But I believe in us. And I believe in the human race and our ability to get there. You just gotta keep on keeping on. And learn to talk and share with each other. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Sean or Pops, you're welcome any bloody time, buddy. Any goddamn time, you're welcome here, buddy. Well, it is Eric Grant's artistry, you know, and like for me, you know, if it wasn't for all of you and what we've started here and for the mission that you've all slowly helped me to figure out that I'm on, being an Uncle Potsquatch and being the Potsquatch, I mean, you know, there's been a lot of hard times where things were falling apart. I'm not going to lie to you, things are a little rough right now in terms of keeping shit together, trying to get the store going and keeping everything afloat, but the community, all of you, my promises to all of you, my want to share with all of you and help, and to learn in turn and from all of you. I mean, it gives me strength too. So just know, everybody, I mean, even Uncle Potsquatch struggles with a lot of stuff. But together, we can help each other be strong. Together, we can build the world we want to be in, the community we want to be in. And I'm just so humbly honored to have the honor to share what I know with all of you, to share these shows with all of you, to go on this wild, weird, magical mystery tour of everything we're doing. The PSGA, baby. And I love each and every one of you, new and old alike. And for those that I don't know or watching that are new, I love you too, even if I don't know your name or your story. Hopefully one day I'll be lucky enough to get you to share that and get to know some of that. But so I appreciate everything and all of what you are, everybody at home. And on the hard days, you guys, girls, these days, you give me strength to keep on keeping on, keep on standing up and fighting the good fight. To keep on fighting, try to get us there. So, hell yeah. And I love all of you. And hey, Sean or Pops, communication can be tricky. And I'll tell you, it's not that you struggle to communicate. It's just to get comfortable doing so, I think, for many people is the hardest part. And you're in a safe place here. That's what we're about here at Potsquatch Growers. It's a safe place for everybody. That is true, Mudswat, and I'll say too, a big part of it is it's how you slice the cake too, everybody. You know, it is what you make it. And that power of intention or interpretation or how we approach things in our head, it's not a cure-all. Ain't no cow mag. Little grower joke for you. But it does make a difference. And so just remember that too. You know, there's always more than one way to look at something. There's always 1,001 ways to the same destination. There's always 1,001 ways to do the same activity. Give yourself permission to be strong enough to do that, you know. Hashtag boom. Well, my friends, this has been a great show. I think we've covered a lot of really good grow stuff. We've talked a lot about a lot of great weed titty things. And, you know, and I think we had a really beautiful sharing as a community and sharing our stories too, which is, I'm so very much glad that that's what this community has become for a lot of us, you know. That we feel safe and that we've been able to create a safe place for people to share, care, You know, so few of the communities I see around the internet and on YouTube associated with the cannabis community doesn't have that. Hell yeah, Karen Sawchuk. Much love, and I'm glad you were here with us and trimming the medicine and listening and participating, Karen. And thank you for sharing. You know, much love, Ganchanati, your mama. We'll talk soon. You know, what was I saying? I'm just glad. I'm very glad and appreciative of all of you and what we've done. Mud SWAT, yes. So that'll be the last question we answer before I end that. Yes, a lot of people do use food color in their cannabis plant to get weird colors. Also, a big part of things of what you're seeing in terms of the pictures that you see on different social media brands and this or that, it's a filter. They're not the real picture. They're using filters. So always take everything with a grain of salt that you see on the internet when it comes to pictures of cannabis. A lot of it is a filter, okay? And then there are a lot of people who are utilizing food coloring in their plant as well. Both of which are sacrilegious in my mind. But hey, congratulations, Ganchanati, your mama. That's an impressive feat. One joint for this whole show? I'm impressed. So my friends, my family, my Potsquatches, remember, the true grower is a forever student. The true grower is not afraid to take risks. The true grower is a forever special kind of dumbass. Love your plants, love yourselves, and be kind to each other. Because you never know. That one little smile, that one small act of kindness could change a whole world of darkness. And you'll never know. The world's ready to be mean to all of us. Just be kind. Be kind, love yourselves and love each other. Love your fucking weed titties, eh? Alright, that's it. Word to your mother. We'll see you next time. We'll have a video of the 48 hours of darkness of start tomorrow for you. We'll have another show on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, well, you'll get to fucking see the harvest video, won't you? Love y'all, man. Keep it real, keep it sexy, keep it squatchy. We'll see you next time. Thanks for an awesome show, everybody.